Good evening, everyone. Here we are, gathered again for another roll reveal. This is reveal number 106. It's 1969's original machine wrapped roll. Got it right here. I've got 50 names. Not sure that anybody would really want this wrapper, but it came from a 1969 roll, so I'm going to go ahead and give the wrapper away too. So let me get my 50 names in here. Hello to J.O.B., Joe McBride, Eric Beyer. I'm still working on the big old bunch of reveals that I had a week to a week and a half ago to 2 weeks ago. And working on getting that all situated. So let me go ahead and put this in there, and that's for the wrapper. Farm Dog, Adam, how you guys doing? Everybody hear me okay? Hello, Blaine. Okay. I'll go ahead and get my tool out. Hay fever still got me down. Still working my way through that. I didn't do any reveals the last couple of days because my voice was all weird and hinky, and I was having a hard time speaking. I've got that all resolved, for the most part anyway. Here comes the roll from Together. Let me go ahead and get this thing unwrapped so we can get going on this. There we go. Good evening, Majestic. Let's see, what do we have here? Looks like a red-brown roll. Looks like some parts of it got a little bit of air from the outside. They're not real spotty, but they're not all. They're also, a lot of them aren't bright red. But hey, what does that matter if we find the really good ones, right? Okay, this one here on the end I know is going to need a little bit of a dusting because I can see paper dust all over it. I'll dust it off real quick before we draw a name for it. It's going to be coin number 1 in the roll, and this one's actually pretty nicely toned. I like the way it's toned. Let's see, who gets first one? Adam Chambers. Well, he happens to be here right now, so here's your coin, buddy. What do we got here for the first coin in the roll? Got a few different double dice to be watching for. Of course, got the major DDO number 1. We've got a DDO number 2. We've got a few RPMs to look for. I like to get my brain wrapped around things, so I go pretty slow the first few coins. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on this coin, because this looks like it could be an RPM. Right here on the end. Where did it go? There it is. Turn my lighting up. Get it in focus. Yeah. Yeah. That lower serif doesn't quite look right, but it also doesn't really look doubled. So get it back in here so I can actually see what I'm doing. Wait a minute. Oh, what do you think, guys? I think it is an RPM, actually. Now that I look at it, look at the upper curve of the S. Looks like there's a little bit going out to the west out there. Could be. I'm thinking there's a chance. I'll take a look at it with the other scope. So I'm going to set this one aside. I can see a little bit of a split. Looks like a little split on the upper serif. Elongated lower serif. Looks like it has a little bit on the west side of the upper curve there. So I'm going to pull this out as a possible. And we'll just have to keep watching. See what happens. Yeah, I'm thinking there's a good chance that's an RPM. Right there on the end of the roll, folks. Doesn't get a lot better than that, does it? Here we go. Let's take a look. The reverse of the coin. We don't have a counterclash. So far, anyway. Don't have a counterclash. Now I'm looking mostly at the bottoms of the letters or the outside edges of the letters for anything that looks really doubled. 1969 S is not really known for double die reverses. That doesn't mean we won't ever find one. Just means they've left them all for us. All right, this will be coin number 1. I'm going to put it off to the side because I do believe I do have an RPM here. This is Adam Chambers. So let me call that die number 1 for the day for the time being, and we'll see what we can find. Robert Adams. Mr. Adams, you're second. See what we have here. Well, this one looks rather normal. Rather normal so far. Jessica just got in from a fishing trip. Then we got Brian down at the lake. You people making me jealous. It was a nice day outside today. Here in North Carolina anyway. We had a high temperature close to or above 80 degrees today. I didn't see anything there on coin number 2. So move on down to coin number 3. Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo for the next coin in the roll. Doesn't look like we have anything here. And the date mint mark. Just looking at all the details around on the obverse to see if we catch anything that hasn't been caught before. You never know, we discover new stuff all the time in this industry. New double dies and RPMs reported near daily. You never know what you might catch up with. That's coin number 3. That was for Chuck Patillo. I move on to coin number 4. Hey, Paula. Kelly Michaud. Kelly Michaud gets coin number 4. Let's see what's on it. Well, now that right there would be a really strong case of machine doubling for you. It's a very strong case of machine doubling. It's even on there on the chin, on the nose. But you don't really see it over here, but you will on Liberty, I'm sure. Nope. Maybe just a little bit on the TRTY. So it's mostly just in the date there. It's interesting, but you can tell it's definitely machine doubling. Look at the top of the 9. See how thin that doubling made the top and the bottom of the 9? That's one of your telltale signs that you got machine doubling right there, is when you're taking up part of the normal structure of the letter with your doubling. That specifically means that you have machine doubling. Also, another thing, the date was hubbed into the die at a different time than the time when the mint mark was punched into the die by hand. And so that would mean that the hubbing process would have created the double die prior to the mint mark ever being applied to the die, which means that if you've got doubling on the date and the mint mark that is related to one another, then you have to have machine doubling, because that only happens during the strike. So there you go. A little tidbit education for that. There's not really any premium value associated with machine doubling. It is rather common. It does come coin to coin. You never know when you're going to hit a coin that hasn't, just like we just did. Could be half this roll has them. Could be only one coin in the roll. You never know. Jason Patton, Clockwork. It's not sales, Clockwork. It's copper coins. Copper coins sales. No, wait a minute. Where? Jessica, help me. How do they register? I can't remember now. Copper coins sales. No, copper coins payments. The copper coins payments at gmail.com. coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. All right, JLB gets this coin number 5. Looking at a little bit of fatness up toward the top part of the mint mark, but I don't really see anything that shows me RPM here. Nothing's yelling RPM at me. It does look like we have a little bit of machine doubling. You can see it on the insides of the 9s. You can see it on the bottom half of the S. coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. That's where you want to send your information to get registered to bid. If I gave you something different, it's because I'm not thinking straight. I, folks, am on drugs. I am drugged. I took Benadryl earlier just to help me out with a little bit of my seasonal allergy thing, and I'm already on Claritin. So being on both, Benadryl, typically I can lick a Benadryl and be drunk. So I'm kind of a little bit hazed over right now because of Benadryl. And you thought I meant something different. No. I don't have any good drugs. Mr. Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher will get coin number 6. Now this looks just like the last one I looked at without the machine doubling. Ludes far out. Well, hello. Welcome to the Copper Coins channel. Kick your shoes off, sit back, and let me do the work. Yeah, unfortunately, these coins aren't really all that red. I mean, they've got red in them for sure. I mean, they are original, but they've done that little bit of brownish toning that you get when you store them in a warm attic. They kind of cooked a little bit over the years. They've got some red, but they've got some brown. They're not the most fantastic graded coins, but if we run into double dyes, it's not going to make any difference, is it? Well, I mean, it'll make some difference, but not enough difference to discount. What was that, $3 per coin? Jessica, can you take a look for the... How do you pronounce that? Is that Ludes far out? I have to know how to pronounce that name because I'm going to be calling it. Is it Ludes or Luid? Ludes far out. Okay. Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton gets the next coin. I'm not sure what a Ludes is, unless that might be a name for somebody. I'm trying to think. Seems almost like it could be a French term of some sort. Wow, we got some spotty coins. Little bit of browning, little spotting. So we don't dive into 69S necessarily for value. Okay, Ludes far out, you are registered. Check also for Clockwork Ink. Trying to get information through to me so you can get registered. I tell you what, folks, we got some really big rolls coming up. And these things are going to be real sweet. You guys remember that 1936S roll I had? What was it, 2 weeks ago? Ended up with 15 examples of RPM number 1 in that one single roll. Wasn't that sweet? That was nice. Well, check this out. It's kind of hard to see there. I have another one. 1936S. Right there. What do you know? I've also got its close cousin, 1937S. So I have a 1937S roll now, too. So we've got a 36. Look at how bright that is. 1937S. We've got a nice bright 1936S roll. Nice 1937S. Now, these rolls come from the same source as that 1936S roll we opened a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. We've got those. I got others too. I won't tell you all at once, because if I tell you all at once, well, then that just kind of gets you all excited and then throws you on the floor. I'd rather it come slowly. So I got a 1936S roll, got a 1937S roll. How about 1945D? 1945D, folks. Got one of those too. That's right. Nice and slow. Did I check this? Yeah, I checked it. I'll make absolutely certain I checked every part of every coin, so I don't want to miss anything. I'm looking at everything. It's just that I do it so subliminally in my own head. If I think about it consciously, I can't remember whether I've seen it or not. There's J.O.B. again. These 1969S rolls are the ones that you either really hit or you really don't. So you got some pretty good stuff in them, or you got nothing at all, pretty much. Here's another one that's got some pretty hefty machine doubling. That machine doubling can affect any part of the design, the entire design, only a part of the design. I've even seen it affect only one letter, the mint mark. Sometimes the mint mark will get punched into the die so that it was not completely, totally plumb and flush when it was punched. It would create a shear edge on the mint mark, so that when the die was trying to release from the mint mark could hang on to that die, and then the coin would get shoved off of the die with the mint mark still stuck. So it would shove the mint mark over a little bit as it was snapping the coin off the die, and you get that little tiny bit of doubling right there just on the mint mark. It's pretty common for certain dates. It's very common for quarters. Very common for dimes. So your issue with collecting RPMs with quarters and dimes is just that. A lot of the reverse mint marks tended to have that kind of a problem. Then you get into the nickels. Nickels had a problem because the mint marks were so close to the edge of the design, and nickel dies wore out real quickly, and so you end up with a lot of really mushy mint marks on nickels. And your dimes and your quarters, the mint mark wouldn't be seated properly. When the coin was struck, the mint mark would stick to the dies. Half dollars, it does that too. It seems the Lincoln cents are the only ones with the mint marks in just the right place to get you a nice little repunch mint mark without screwing things up because they're too close to the edge of the die, or because you're minting coins that are too hard, or the mint mark's on the wrong side of the coin for a really good upstruck repunch mint mark. Oh, Sherman. The dog's in town. His leg still hurts. Wish I could do something for him, but he just hobbles around. Must have done something that really hurt him. We've had him at the doctor a couple of times, and of course we're at a point now where we're kind of waiting for this COVID idea to blow over before we take him back to the doctor and start talking to him about surgery. But it's looking like he might need surgery. Try to give him a little massage once in a while to try to knock the pain down a little bit. And he has anti-inflammatories that we've been giving him, but it doesn't seem to help a lot. Doggy CBD. I could do that. As long as it'll help him. That will turn him into a junkie. Well, I've not seen another coin that looked like an RPM since the first coin. So it could possibly be that one that I held out in the beginning may have not been an RPM. And we could have an empty roll here of 50 decent 1969S Lincoln cents, and that's it. But you never know when you open one of these rolls what you're going to end up with. I'm everybody's hero if I open up a DDO number 1. Not sure what I am if I don't, but tends to be the way things work out far more often than not. So you end up with not much of anything in the roll. On a 69S, there's a DDR with a doubling underneath the statue. I wasn't aware of that. I'll have to look it up before I go back through the roll. I should have looked it up before I started the broadcast. I also hear that if you go straight to a raw diet and do only a raw diet with the dogs, they tend to respond to that pretty well when it comes to joint pain and other stuff like that. Part of it's that he's just getting a little bit older. It's just a bulldog, and he's getting a little bit older. I mean, he's almost 6 years old. I know that's part of it, but the other part of it has to do with this injury that he had. He sustained a pretty decent injury out there on the field. I mean, he was licking his teeth. It hurt. I don't know. I mean, he'll walk around and stuff now. I mean, he walks. In fact, once in a while, he actually trots a little bit and kind of runs. Such a cocky little dog. All right. Well, everybody wants me to check this DDR out. I know I don't have it listed, so I'm going to go over to Variety Vista and take a look for it. And let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Look for a double die reverse 1969S. That's proof, that's proof, that's proof. This isn't proof. Okay, so you've got extra floor underneath the statue. That's interesting. Very different. We'll watch for that through the rest. Hey, look at that name. I know that guy. He's not here right now, but I know that guy. All right, so that's what we've got. So that's what we need to be kind of poking our eyeball around looking at, making sure we don't miss anything like that. Of course, we've also got the counterclash reverse. Jessica found one of those last week, and she cried for 2 days after she sold it. Hey, looky there. Got levels of madness coming up here. Let's look at the reverse on his coin first, just for giggles, to see if we find anything good. Uh-oh. We got a spot there. This coin's got spots, and I don't like spots. Who's that for sure? Got your name in the lights there, Mr. Levels. Here's coin number 19. 19 is going to go also to levels. So we're going to look at the obverse on this one first. That's just because Mama told me that's the way we should usually do it, right? Okay, this is machine doubling. A little bit of doubling that you're seeing. It's correspondent with the S and the date. So since they're related, we know it has to be machine doubling. Nothing to look further at. Oh, yuck. That's a huge cancer right there. Glad that's not a double die reverse. That is one ugly coin. Sorry, buddy. Alright, Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo's going to get coin number 20. Take a look, see what we got here. I'm not seeing anything here either. A little bit of machine doubling there. I've seen this die. We've got that heavy die scratch and the E of Liberty. I have seen this die before in this roll. So we know this one's normal. Nothing to look for here. Oh, Mr. Dowdle. Alright, Chuck Patillo. Now for coin number 21, Ray Longi. Ray Longi will get coin number 21. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Little uncirculated 1969 S Lincoln cent. Not much else. Nothing else going on here. Alright. Coin number 21. It's a Ray Lungi. How many of you guys like 1949S? Like 1949S? You're Joe McBride. Hey, Coin Junkie. We're liking 1949S out there. I have an OBW roll of 1949S right here. It's not only is it an OBW roll of 1949S, but it is also displaying an RPM right on the end of the roll. Right on the end of the roll. That one's also going to be available soon. Oof. Well, this one's really toned, but why is it in the center of the roll like this? This one's... Oof. Wow. That thing was manhandled. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I hope I don't run any more of those. That was ugly. I need to wash my hands after that one. Or get a drink or something. Joe McBride. 49S is really tough. 50S, 51S, those are really tough too. One of the hardest rolls I've ever had to try finding was a 1950 Philadelphia. They're not easy. Man. They beat the hell out of these coins before they stuck them in these rolls. That wasn't a fingerprint. It looked like somebody licked it. And the whole coin had color on it. Weird. Licked it with grape juice on their tongue. Here we go, Joe McBride. Well, at least got some slightly more decent coins here in the center. Oh my gosh, I am not happy with the quality of this roll, but this is not one that I can easily replace because 69S are really hard to find. Yeah, trust me, I try not to lick the coins. Never know what you catch from them. Couldn't be COVID on this one, though, because it's been wrapped up since 1969. So, whatever viruses are out there now are not in here. Wild Bill. Wild Bill for the next up. Ooh. A decent coin here. They just don't have anything on it. Yeah, another huge spot. Kind of frustrating sometimes opening up rolls that you've never seen inside of before because you never know what the quality is going to be when you open it. Guess that's the risk I take, right? Yeah, here's a coin for Adam. Not the nicest, not the ugliest. Not the nicest, not the ugliest. But also not a double die reverse. So let's keep moving on. See what else we can find. This will be coin number 28 here, Chuck Patillo. Mr. Patillo, this is your coin. You know, this is why when we find these rolls that have the really, if you guys have been around since I did that 1975 D roll, that 75 D roll was exceptional. There were a lot of really high-grade coins in that roll. It's the exception to find rolls like that, actually, to find the really high-grade coins in rolls. This is really closer to the norm. This is closer to what to expect. There's a nice set of machine doubling right there. Why I said it that way, but look at that. Got it on the nose, on the lips, on the chin, the bow tie. Got it on the bottom of the bust right there. But that's some cool. Some cool machine doubling. Ugh. More spots. I really don't like spots. That's coin number 29. Steve looking for silver. How are you doing today? Here's Guyver. Let's take a look at Guyver's coin. Yep, nothing going on there. No date mint mark issues that I can see. I check coins for doubled ears regardless. I just look at the earlobe because you never know when you're going to run into an earlobe. Could happen anytime, any date, any mint. Don't ever tell me that just because somebody's book doesn't publish, it means it doesn't exist, including my own, including Copper Coins. Copper Coins does not have everything listed. Now, we are working on that. But even once we get everything known listed, you're still going to run into things that are not listed there because we are continually listing new items, listing new dies. Just in the recent editions on Copper Coins, you'll find that we've got nearly 100 different sets of photos that have gone up on the website. That's going to be at least 400 or 500 images that we've put up on the website over the last month to a month and a half. It's the combined effort of myself, Jessica, Brady, Brian Allen, Jody Gomez, Amber Powell. We've all been working together trying to get that website updated and get more information out there. Robert Adams. Robert. Hey, that does appear to be a nice RPM right there. So that kind of solidifies the idea that first coin that I saw was probably an RPM. They don't come often, but when they do, they're pretty nice. So this is a pretty nice RPM right here. You can actually see it on the upper curve and the lower curve. So it's actually an S over S rotated counterclockwise. Very, very nice. So that one's for Robert Adams right there. Got him a nice little RPM. Like it, Robert? I think I'm going to stick this one with the other one because I do believe they are from the same die. I'll be able to tell if I see that die scratch coming up off the back of the jacket on the other coin. And that'll tell me they're related. It's kind of hard to tell with the toning and stuff on the obverse of that other coin. Oof. Man, spots. Spots. Still, it's an RPM. It's nice. Like it. Just don't flip it over. Just look at the front of the coin. Isn't that nice? Oh, you don't need to see the back. Just look at the front. Kelly Michaud. You finally opened it, a 60D small date roll. You found what you think, 5 dies? Was it 5 different coins with 2 different new RPMs? And that's awesome. I know that there's a lot that I don't have listed. A lot of the minor stuff I know I don't have listed. Because, the Wexler files contain nearly 250 different repunch mint marks, and we're only up around 175 or 180. So, he's got at least 50 to 60 different repunch mint marks known in his listing system than I have in mine, so there is a pretty decent chance people can find ones that I've never had listed. But, hey, it is what it is, right? We'll get to it with time. Kelly Michaud. Our fine feathered Canadian friend. Let's see what we can get for him. Well, let's see. Why I said that. I guess I pick on people I like a little bit. I don't know. See that slight miss in the rim right there, where you just don't see any rim for a little while, and then it kind of comes back? That's an effect of the strike. There's nothing unusual about it for this era. It tends to be kind of normal to have really weird strikes on these. But yeah, that slightly missing rim up there toward the top of the design, no big deal. It's kind of normal. Just look at it, admire it, move on. Nothing here to see. Let's take a look at coin number 35. Coin number 35 will go to Chuck Patillo. Gosh, this one's got nasty on it. Looks like it could be an RPM as well. Yeah, I think it's one of those RPMs. You can see it in the upper serif, and I think you can see it just a little bit in the upper curve there. We'll know because of that die scratch that comes out of the RPM headed up toward the 6 of the date. We'll know that for sure. So, I go ahead and just stick it off to the side, and I'll compare it to the others, and we'll see what we can see. See if we might be able to place markers on it. Other than this huge, huge fingerprint. Man. It must have been a hot day in the mint when they were, or in the bank when they were wrapping these. Well, the spread on the S is different from the other one too. So I know I've got at least two different dies going on here, because the spread of the S is different. Now see how beautiful the reverse is on this? God. Somebody should be shot. They just grabbed a stack of coins with their greasy thumb. Who knows where that's been, right? I didn't say that. All right. Next on the list will be Joe McBride. Compose yourself, Chuck. Joe McBride gets this. Looks normal. A little bit of a machine doubling going on at the bottom of the 9. Or the lower part of the lower face of the 9. Just like it does here on the ERTY. It's related to this 9 over here. Got nothing else that I can see specifically. I'll keep taking a look around here. Find a place for us to get in trouble and find some value, right? That's what we're trying to do, right? Yeah, all right, well, it's unfortunate I came to the party with a half-empty bottle. Oh, get Joe's name in there. Lunar landing footprint. That's about what it looks like. Of course, that's the year it happened, so sure. Guyver. You know, it looks like a normal 69S, but other than a little spot on the E, it doesn't look like anyone stepped on this one. A big old brown area popping up on the reverse there. I'm going to switch out my pronunciation so you guys will never know which one I actually prefer. So I'm going to say reverse sometimes. I'm going to say reverse other times. One of these days I'll quit talking about that. Bulldog. Bulldog, let's see. So just a little bit of the sniffles from my hay fever. Went through the car wash today. My poor car needed a bath. It's red, but this morning it was almost orange because of the yellow dirt all over it. That's right. Gonna look at the back side of the coin. Just gonna flip it over, look at the back side here real quick. Y'all don't know I was raised in the South. That's right, boys and girls. Once in a while, Chucky can revert to his Tennessee accent. Hey, look at that. But it is all machine doubling going on there. It's cute, it's pretty, but it's machine doubling. A little bit on the bridge of his nose, a little bit above the eye, a little bit on the top of the forehead. No, nothing on the inside of the ear. I guess we have to wait for that. Let's take a look at the reverse. Let's see, I said it that way that time. You'll see. I'll swap. I'll go back and forth and back and forth. You'll never know. Make your head spin. Frank! Hello, Frank. The one I pulled for you might be number 2. Okay. Well, I appreciate you looking that up. I'll confirm it prior to packaging shipping. Another 69S, and this one looks to be rather normal. Yep. Rather normal one there. So that's coin number 40. And Mr. Patillo. Let's see about coin number 41 for Ray Longi. See what I can do for Ray Longi here. Yeah. It's an interesting little hook looking thing coming out of the 6 there, but that's actually a hit on the coin. But it looked pretty there for a second. It's one of those things that makes your heart skip a beat. And then you stop and think, oh, yeah, that's not what it is. Well, now you don't necessarily have to wait to get a plate coin for a new RPM. If I find an existing RPM that needs a photo for the website, I'll take a photo of your coin and make it a plate coin anyway. So it doesn't have to be a new listing. Now, of course, new listings, you're going to get a plate coin anyway because I don't have photos at all. But if I need to replace them, your coin looks prettier than the one I'm replacing. You bet. It's going to be replaced. Now, don't have any hard feelings when yours is replaced, because that could happen too. It's an ever-flowing ebb and flow of coin information placed in one place on the internet for you to enjoy. Right? That's the way it works. Oh, Aunt Orta. This is one of my favorite channels. Well, you're one of our favorite people. You got all kinds of nothing going on right now. We got a bunch of 1969 S Lincoln cents just going into flips. We do have a couple of RPMs. Working on attempting to continue the flow of RPMs, but it doesn't seem to be a flood. It's more a trickle. Levels of Madness. Is that? It could be a little... No, it's not. So I was thinking there for a second it could be a little RPM over to the west, but it isn't. And we keep hoping for the best. That's your last coin. The bums, we didn't get you that reverse. Of course, little birdie told me you might already have one. All right. Normal coin levels. Sorry, Broham. Mr. Bill, see what we can find for Wild Bill. Well, I've seen this die before. We've probably seen that fingerprint before. Is it a loop or a whirl? Actually, you know, I wouldn't really care if it was a loop or a whirl or an arch or whatever. I want to know what kind of chocolate bar that guy was eating. Got it all over his hands. I'd love to discover a new 69S RPM. That would be really cool. Or actually, better yet, a 69S double die, a new one. That would be awesome. Here's Guyver. See what we can get for Guyver on coin number 45 here. Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. This tends to be just a little bit of a bummer when we run into a roll that's kind of beat up like this one is. It's really hard to tell what we're going to end up with, though. When we get original rolls, you never know what kind of beating they got before they went in the roll. It's horrible, I tell you. It's horrible. Oh, I gotta get Guyver's name in that one. Who here likes 1954D? We got a 1954D roll right here. Look how shiny that is. Oh, yeah. The colors. Coin porn, folks. Got the best of it for you. 1954 D roll that we're going to be going through next week. I pull a name for number 46. It's going to be Wild Bill. Wild Bill get coin number 46. Let's take a look and see what it is. We do actually have a chance of finding RPMs in the remainder of this roll. We've got 4 coins left in the roll. Now, 2 different RPMs pulled so far. Let's see what we're doing with them. Maybe. How about 1947? What is this, a 47D? Yeah, 47D. 1947D. Got one of those, too. Ooh, a cut on an 82P. Is it copper or zinc? Probably a large date, though, right? What's that? There we go. Farm dog. Copper large date. Si, senor. Now, see that die scratch next to the 1 there? That means we've run into this die before because I've seen that a number of times. And that means we've got a nothing coin. Unfortunate, but true. Yeah, today was kind of a precursor to summer here. We hit at least 80 degrees. I don't know how warm it really was, but it was very warm. Warm enough to roll the windows down in the car. Took the dog for a little drive out in the country. I stopped to get gas. I used a bag over my hand to handle the pump. I turned the bag inside out as I was pulling it off. See, I've been doing dog poop for a long time in bags, so if you don't handle it right, you get poop on your hands. So you learn after a while how to handle a bag and make sure that you don't touch the inside of the bag ever. So that's how I handle dog poop. It's also how I handle gas pumps now. Handle dog poop and gas pumps in the same manner. Ordered pizza for this evening from a local pizzeria. Keep those local businesses going. You know what I haven't run into? I haven't run into anybody for the wrapper yet. Isn't that strange? That's a little struck through right there. Yep, definitely a little struck through. And got a couple of little spots. No machine doubling, but we do have a little struck through. That's cool. Jonesboro got hit by a tornado. I didn't know about that. Just right in the Jonesboro area, or was it north or south or what? Used to drive right through that area all the time. Jonesboro, Pontotoc. Oh, looky there. That's a struck through. That one could be related to what's on the other side, but that is a nice struck through. There you go. Somebody got him a nice coin there. Who is that? Jim Fletcher. And nothing really except this nice struck through on here. You got a struck through on both sides. You got a struck through right there going through the E of United into the corners, the left corners of the memorial, and then you've got another little struck through right over here. See a little metal shavings or something in there when this coin was being struck. So that's awesome. That's really nice. That's coin number 49 out of 50 here, folks. That's 49. So unless I really mess something up. Okay, here's Midnight Silver Run for coin number 50. Yeah. What do you know? It was the very last one I pulled. Now that's the first time that's ever happened to me. Pull the wrapper at the very end of the roll. This one's got a little bit of toning on it. You can see a little bit of color going on. This was on the outside of the wrapper, or on the outside of the roll, so it does have a fingerprint, but it's also got some pretty nice color. This one's not an RPM. It's a little hit on the mint mark. Tornado watch. I'll have to look into it. Seems like if I ever turn the TV on, the only thing I find on the TV is all about coronavirus. That is really, really bad to have weather like that during this pandemic. So Midnight Silver Run will end up taking the wrapper on this one because, well, I pulled the wrapper very last and he had the last coin. So I want to write Midnight on this. And then I will... Yes, I can't find my regular pen, so I'll just write it with this one. There we go. It's on there. You can't see it, but it's on there. And here's the wrapper. 1969 S wrapper. All right, folks. It looks like we have... Well, we've got what appears to be a total of 3 coins that are repunch mint marks in this roll. It's what it looks like. We've got coin number 32, coin number 1, and coin number 35. And 32 went to Robert Adams. Number 1 went to Adam Chambers. And number 35 went to somebody without Adam in their name, Chuck Daughtrey. So that's the 3 varieties that I know of so far in these coins. I am going to look through the other 47 coins again to see one way or the other whether we have any other die varieties, but here they are nonetheless. Here they are, ready to go. All right, boys and girls. Well, it's been a fun afternoon of coin digging. We're going to be doing some more of it at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got this 1972 Philadelphia roll to go through. It's 1972 Philadelphia roll. It says 50 pennies on there real faintly, but what really attracted me on this roll is that the coins are very, very nice looking. It's got a very, very nice gem coin on one end of it. The other end has a pretty nice gem looking coin too. And neither end coin shows the master die doubling. So that tells me that there's some chance that we could find the good doubled dies in this roll. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the off button on this thing so I can go eat and get cleaned up nice and everything for 9 o'clock, and I'll come back and I'll do that stream then. I'll see you guys later.